a lot of things. It will leave you in a place where you're not able to actually move forward with your life because of fear. A couple years ago, I made a decision out of fear. I made a decision out of scarcity, out of, I don't know if I can actually do this. I don't know what actually works. I don't know. And I told myself all these different lies and questions and thoughts, thinking maybe if I just do one more thing, if I figure one more thing out, I can make this work. I can end up having this good idea that will solve everything. So I went to one of those like real estate classes. This is a couple of years ago. And when I went to one of these real estate classes, it ended up being like a sale and a pitch, like selling me into something that didn't give me the tools, but gave me the idea, the dream outcome, but didn't really show me, hey, this is how you actually do it. So then walk away from that event and end up being $80,000 in debt with no tools, with nothing that's actually helping me move forward. But in my mindset, I was like, I have to do something. I have to figure this out because if I don't do this, I was making decisions out of fear. And the hard thing was the people that I was interacting with weren't people that were actually healthy and actually doing stuff where they were willing, but they were making a lot of promises to people and they weren't following through of being willing to actually support me or help me or have this figured out. And then like got into it and God was like, yep, this wasn't the right thing because you did the thing that I told you not to do. Right now, you might have stuff in your life that fear is actually causing you to make decisions that are not helpful, that are not actually helping you move forward in your healing. They might be causing you to do a knee-jerk reaction in a certain aspect of your life. And as a result, you're like, this is going to fix it. And it doesn't. I was messaging someone earlier today on Instagram and they were like, yeah, last year or 2 years ago, I spent over $15,000 on therapy. Didn't get anywhere. They didn't help. But like that's the thought process of like, I need to do this. I need to figure this out. I need to go do this and get this healing. And unfortunately, a lot of times it doesn't help. We've seen this consistently happen inside Raw Motivations of people coming to us and being like, I've been in therapy for a year, for 2 years, for 5 years, and they're still stuck. Stephanie says, fear holding me hostage, 100%. It holds you hostage to the place that you can't actually get free because your mindset is like, wait a second, if I do this, what's going to happen? Now he's actually going to go get with the person that he actually likes. Now he's going to actually love someone. Now he's actually going to give this girl everything that I once desired. Now he's going to, and all these thoughts start going through your head and you start to get afraid of it. Maybe you're at the place right now where you have the fear of leaving, not just because of what he's going to do, but the fear of like, I don't know if I can survive on my own. I don't know how to be able to make ends meet. I don't know how to provide for my kids. I don't know where we're going to live. I don't know what's going to happen. And you start to have all of these different aspects of fear that's driving you, that's making you question, that's making you doubt. Fear is going to do a lot of things, but one thing it will do is it will consistently put you in a state of scarcity to make bad choices, to make bad decisions. And I want you to stop for a moment today and just kind of think, what decisions are you making today in your life that are out of fear? Because it's never my goal to scare you into doing something or to get you to a place where you're afraid so you have to make a move. My goal is that you understand that you have to make a move because of where you are. Not out of fear, not out of compulsion, but out of a reason of saying, hey, I know that there's a better version of me out there. I know that there's a better version of me that shows up connected to my kids more because of all the stress that's out of my life, because of the anxiety, because of the stress, because of the autoimmune diseases that I'm dealing with by being with a toxic person. I know that that exists. What are you willing to do to achieve that? To be that person? Because fear is going to hold you back from it. It's going to tell you you're not good enough. It's going to tell you don't have enough confidence. It's going to tell you don't have the self-esteem. You don't have the self-worth. Why would you even think about doing that? Like, that's not even possible. Probable. You can't even do that. Fear will keep you trapped. It will hold you hostage. The piece with fear, I want you to consider just the question today. How is fear controlling your choices today? Right here, right now, right today. How is fear controlling your choices today? You might be watching this and you're like, I think you might be right. Like there might be one thing, but I don't want to think about it. There might be one thing that I have, but no, no, no. So I'm calling you out. You right now. Type it in the chat. What is the one thing right now that fear is controlling your choices right now? Put it in the chat. Because if you don't identify this, it is going to continue to control and to ruin your life. Don't put the narcissist. He's not controlling you. But is your fear? Is there a piece of your fear that's controlling your decisions? There might be decisions that you need to make today that you're not making because of fear. Fear of being alone. Thank you for being encouraging. Thank you for putting that out there and for being vulnerable. Fear of being alone, huge one. Like you're afraid of being alone because you don't know what's going to happen. What's the alternative if you stay and you're stuck in this toxicity for a long period of time? What does that look like? Fear of abandonment, 100%. He wants you to feel that fear so you stay. Fear of being alone, fear to love again, fear of moving on from a 24-year relationship, fear of money, the fear of living and living alone, the fear of backlash, not being able to provide for my kids, fear of retaliation. Everything we truly desire is on the other side of fear, 100%, 100%. Alone and abandoned, fear of being a single mom. All of these pieces are meant to be able to keep you stuck. Fear is like the shackles, the things that are around your wrist, holding you tight and saying, hey, you will continue to be a slave to me if you continue to give fear the priority. No, it's the opposite. Just like, don't be fearful and just run through stuff. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that the fear starts in the mind. It starts with how you're thinking. It starts with how you're waking. It starts with the story you're telling yourself on a day-to-day basis that puts you in a place that says, I won't make it on my own. You've already been doing it on your own. Yes, you've been in a relationship with a toxic person. You've already been doing this on your own. You've already been providing. You've already been showing up for the kids. You've already been doing so many different things right here, right now. And what has he been doing? Some of you watching this right now, you might realize just in a moment that your fear of being alone is already here right now because the person that you're with has not been present or honest with you over the past period of time that you've been with them. So then what are we really afraid of? Is it the validation? Is it the abandonment piece? Is it the image of what other people are going to think when you two split up, when you've already looked like the bad guy because of everything he said to other people? What is the actual fear? Because until we work through that fear, you will continue to tell yourself a lie to keep you stuck. People do it all the time. You will continue to stay stuck by telling yourself another lie, another version of reality to justify staying and being controlled by fear. This piece of fear is something that will control you if you give it a foothold, and it will continue to creep into your life over and over and over again. And it's not the narcissist. It's not the toxic person. Does that activate it? 100%. I'm not putting anything down by that, but I'm saying it is something that you can control. Through your thought process, through the stories that you tell yourself, through the lies that you believe, through the things that have been pressed upon you that you start to believe yourself. That no one's going to love you because you're a single mom, that no one's going to be with you because you're going to be all alone for the rest of your life. All of this stuff is the lie that keeps you stuck in toxicity thinking, well, at least this is better than the alternative. What if it's not? What if the alternative is you actually being free? You actually being a person who can rise and grow and be the person that you're actually called to be. I don't say this from a frame that says, oh, it's easy. It's not. I wake up every single day to work on my frame of reference, to work on my fears, to work on the story I'm telling myself. Because if I don't, I know who I am without it. So I continue to apply myself every single day to work on this to transform. What are you willing to do to transform your life and move away from fear? You don't have to model the stuff that I do, but the stuff that I do is a path for a lot of people. You don't have to model what I do getting up at 4 a.m. every morning. I'm not saying that. But the tools that I use every single day to rewire the thought process, to go through a process of stacking where I have to understand the reality that I'm in. I have to look at the facts of the situation. I have to struggle with the story and the lies that I believe and come to a conclusion so I can move forward in a healthy and a wholesome way to continue my healing, my growth, my change, my development. And you guys just get to be the overflow of that when I come on here and I'm like, hey, by the way, this is what I'm talking about today. Guess what? That's something I wrote in my email. That's something that I experienced in my life. That's something I'm saying, hey, this is where I'm coming from. I'm not pulling these ideas just out of random concepts. I'm saying, hey, this is how I live every single day to work on myself and not let fear control. That's the option you have every single day. To break free, to be free, and to move forward into the person you're called to be. If we can be of any help with that, please reach out. If you want to interact with me or some of the stuff that we do inside of the Thriver community, shoot me a message. Shoot me a DM. If you're ready to start the process, the journey, step into the Clarity Challenge. 45 days can transform you, can give you back your power, can help break a trauma bond. But you have to be willing to step into the fear and no longer let fear control you. No longer let fear have a hold over you. No longer have fear be the one that's in the driver's seat dictating your choices and your decisions. That choice is up to you. So as we get off today, I'd like to invite you to make that choice. Not for me, not for him, not for anyone else. For you. To make a decision, to make a choice, saying fear is no longer going to be in the driver's seat. Will you make that decision today? Y'all have a blessed and wonderful day. If you want to reach out, shoot me a message. Love to be able to help out any way that we can. If you're curious of how we actually do this and the tools that I use on a day-to-day basis, go to claritychallenge.net. Y'all have a great and wonderful day.